Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at the newly announced Fujinon 10-24mm f4. As you guys know by now, my favorite type of photography is weddings, but closely behind comes real estate photography, which I partly do for a living. And for that reason, I wanted to get my hands on this newly released 10-24mm f4. It has a bunch of improvements and we're going to go over them right after the intro. So this new lens was announced by Fuji mid-October 2020, a couple of weeks ago, and I was really excited to get my hands on it because, as I said, I shoot real estate. I do a lot of real estate photo shoots, 3 to 4 every week, and for that very reason I wanted to know how good this new lens is versus the older model that I have been using in literally 100 shoots. So let's start with the improved features. First and foremost, we have the Aperture Ring, which now shows the stops directly on the lens, eliminating the need to check on the EVF or LCD screen what aperture you're set to. They have removed the manual auto knob and replaced it with the actual Aperture Ring and an auto lock feature, which is also found on the GFX lenses. It is now weather resistant. This is particularly useful for those that do a lot of photography in humid or dusty environments and in temperatures as low as -10 degrees Celsius. There's a tiny weight difference with the original lens, weighing 25 grams less. That is barely noticeable, but considering the physical changes of this lens and the weather resistance, it is most definitely welcome. They have improved the optical image stabilization by 1 stop, making it now stabilized to 3.5 stops. When adding this to the IBIS of the X-T4, you can achieve approximately 6.5 stops, and that can be a lifesaver if you don't have a tripod handy and are shooting in low light. However, shooting wide open makes it less shaky, and I always shoot on the tripod with this lens. Or, in the case of an event, I shoot with enough light and therefore a faster shutter speed. Aesthetically speaking, the OIS function is now always on, versus the first generation lens that had a knob to switch it on and off, which I honestly never used because I always want to have the OIS on. The autofocus is fast and silent. Another minor aesthetic change is that they removed the markings for the 20mm focal length on the lens, making it less cluttered and visually more pleasing. The lens cap is now much easier to put on and it stays in place and won't come off accidentally like the original lens used to. This always had been a pain for me when shooting a house and having to pack up rapidly because it would always come off or fall in the bag when pulling it out. The font on the front of the lens is now slightly smaller. This is a minor detail, but I wanted to let you guys know. Before getting onto the sample shots, it would be totally amazing if you guys could hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Now, on the sample shots, I shot them all on a tripod using an X-T3. I shot everything with classic chrome and I swapped the two lenses on the same body. The reason is I want these tests to be as unbiased as possible. Make sure that it's the same body, make sure that we have the same film simulation, and these shots are all straight out of the camera. Here they are. So what about the price of this lens? It was announced to be $999 when it comes out mid-November 2020 versus $750 for the first generation. So you can see here there's a lot of physical changes on this new lens, but we still have 14 elements in 10 groups, and the excellent optical quality of this lens is not going to be improved. It's going to remain the same, so you're not going to get anything worse, but you're not going to get anything better. So having a physical aperture ring on the lens makes a lot of difference to me, because in the past, not having the markings on the lens made me change by mistake and sometimes shoot at f4. Now when you're doing real estate photography, you want to make sure that everything is in focus. I normally shoot around f11 for that reason, and the fact of shooting at f4 made me sometimes miss some shots, and that can be really annoying when you come home and you see that you shot at f4. So now when you shoot real estate, you want to be as steady as possible, and that is why I always shoot on a tripod and I always use a timer of 2 seconds. That way there's no micro jitter, there's no shakiness, everything is stable. So having an extra OIS on this lens is going to help a lot. Therefore, if you ask me if the $200 difference are worth it, I would tell you they're worth it for the following people. If you're someone who shoots outdoor in humid or dusty environments and or in cold weather, if you're someone who shoots handheld a lot and you need that extra optical stabilization, and if you're someone who changes the aperture very often or that needs to have a specific aperture set and you need to see it at all times. Otherwise, don't see a need to change from the older model to the newer model unless you're someone who needs these new upgrades. I hope I covered everything. If I didn't, please write it down in the comment section below. Write down as well if you're someone who's going to buy the new version over the previous version, why you would do that, and or if you're just someone who's looking to buy one of these two lenses. Like always, thanks for watching. I see you in my next video. Take care. Cheers.